Dr. Subramaniam Swamy is joining us today from the BJP, Gaurav Bhatia of the Samajwadi Party, Sankarshan Thakur of the Telegraph, TSR Subramaniam, former Cabinet Secretary, Vinod Mehta, Editorial Chairman of the Outlook magazine, Shailesh Gandhi, former CIC and one of India's best-known RTI activists, Tripathi of the NCP will join us in some time. And as of this minute, ladies and gentlemen, I am still trying to get a Congress Party spokesperson to come on the program. And I have been trying to get a Congress Party spokesperson to come on the program for the last 4 hours. We have been unable to get a Congress Party spokesperson on the program. And if you don't see one tonight, don't blame me. It's not for want of trying. I wonder if the Congress has given up on the government itself. I hope not. Why do you think the Congress Party is not coming on the program to defend the government, Vinod Mehta?
Well, I think they are, what they've done is quite indefensible, Arnab. The UPA now looks increasingly like the Titanic after it hit the iceberg. And I think they're running helter-skelter. And of the 4 instances that you have mentioned, the one that I find the most interesting is of the Urban Development Secretary.
Oh, yes.
Because he is... the most interesting is the Urban Development Secretary, because if you see, there is no great policy matter involved there. It's just a matter of how you speak English. I mean, this is completely ridiculous. Everybody can't speak like Mr. Chidambaram. So, I mean, and look what that secretary has done. He's shot off a letter to the cabinet secretary, he's shot off a letter to his minister, and he's asked for the Prime Minister's intervention. So he is not going to take this lying down, he's flexing his muscles.
Yeah.
And one reason why he's flexing his muscles or feels he can is because he thinks that this government is inevitably not going to be there in a couple of months, and therefore he can do all these things.
Yeah,
and the government on its part seems to have lost its nerve.
Yeah. This is a letter. We have 4 stories. This letter is written by Sudhir Krishna. He's the Urban Development Secretary. He says to his minister Kamal Nath won't... No, he says that I was humiliated over and over again by Mr. Chidambaram. Now, the issue is not about whether he was humiliated or... The point is, here is a bureaucrat who says enough is enough. And he's telling the Prime Minister that, I am not going to take this. He says, as I was trying to explain my point, Mr. Chidambaram started saying he could not understand my English. And that I should speak in Hindi, which his officers will translate for him in English. He repeated the same statement over and over and over again, in a tone and tenor that was expressly humiliating. And he says, I want to bring this to the attention of the Prime Minister. What does the Prime Minister of India do with this letter? I don't know. It's gone to the Cabinet Secretary. But why are people beginning to speak up is one question. But the other thing is, Vinod Mehta, when people speak up, others are also sacked. Subramaniam Swamy, what's going on in this government? You are always sympathetic to the Prime Minister. Maybe he should just step down instead of making us go through this embarrassment.
Well, first of all, he has to step down anyway in a couple of months or 3 months. The fact of the matter is that defeat is staring them in the face. Many of the ministers know that they are guilty of many scams, and they know that the successor government is likely to be headed by Mr. Narendra Modi, who is not going to be very forgiving. So there is anxiety. So this is all like when you see what happened to Germany in April 1945 with Hitler in the bunker. Here today, what was in the last 10 years a diarchy, it has cracked up. The Prime Minister is left holding the bag alone. Miss Sonia Gandhi has disappeared from the scene. So naturally everybody is running helter-skelter, no surprise at all. And as far as Chidambaram is concerned, I think he should publish his grades at Harvard before he gives lectures on how to speak English.
It's not the point. What I find of great concern in all of this, Mr. Subramaniam, is also what has happened to the Health Secretary. I mean, who does Ghulam Nabi Azad think he is? There is a specific there is a health secretary who opposes the nomination of Mr. Ketan Desai, scam accused Ketan Desai, and Ghulam Nabi Azad just throws him out. in 11 months. No answerability on that either. Mr. Subramaniam?
Arnab, I think firstly we should have, we should ask the Urban Development Secretary to learn Tamil. That will probably help, number one. With respect to the case of the Health Secretary, I have known him for the last 30 years. He is one of the most outstanding persons in our service. He is honest to a degree, and he is extremely competent person. And if people like that clearly have now no place in Delhi. I mean, the lesson is very clear that we don't want people who are straightforward. Now, what is happening now is that what has happened in the worst states in India, which has been quite terrible, the UPs and Bihar and other places, has now come squarely to Delhi. Delhi is now as bad in its internal management as nearly every other state. Only one question about one other point about Health Secretary. There was a Supreme Court order on September 30th after Khemka and Durga Nagpal cases, which said that minimum tenure of 2 years in a post, and if it is not done, clearly this looks at these kinds of cases, 2 years, otherwise it has to go to the Civil Services Board, reasons have to be given. I am curious, is there contempt of court here?
Well, absolutely there is. There absolutely is. But DP Tripathi joins the debate right now. Vinod Mehta, I'm coming to you. Let's get an initial word in from everyone. Shailesh Gandhi, which of these 4 cases bother you the most? One is a secretary who says Chidambaram doesn't know how to behave with me, and the Prime Minister must intervene. The second is the case of Sharad Pawar and KV Thomas fighting like school children in a cabinet meeting, reversing decisions of the GOM. The third is of an honest health secretary who takes on a decision of Ghulam Nabi Azad to try and nominate a scam-accused man, gets sacked. And the third is that of a breakdown of rules, destruction of rules in the appointment of a CBI director. What is going on in this government? Why is it not careful anymore?
In my opinion,
has it lost all sense of fear or accountability?
There is some kind of panic which all this is displaying.
Panic.
But no, I more than all other comments and more than running down anybody, I'm feeling very sad as an Indian citizen.
Yes.
Where is my country?
Yeah, absolutely.
This government has not done all that disastrously for 9 years or 9.5 years.
Well, it actually has.
No, the point I'm making is it wasn't looking as bad as this. Today, it looks like they are all...
I agree with you. It's looking progressively worse.
And I am appealing to all of them, including the Prime Minister and the other ministers, for God's sake, for India's sake, please use your sense of proportion. Do not let your arrogance get over you.
What is
Do not let your fears get over you like this.
All these years, I wonder, Sankarshan, all these years, what was holding back the Prime Minister? Maybe it was the Gaddi. The Prime Minister was attached to his chair, so he compromised. And he always blamed some coalition partner, blamed somebody else always for it and became holier than thou himself. Today, when the Prime Minister knows in any case I am going, why is this man allowing rules to be destroyed in the appointment of a CBI additional director, for example? Is the Prime Minister not concerned about his own image? Or has the Prime Minister simply lost grip or control over his government?
Arnab, you know what happened in Parliament today? As the Rail Minister was reading out the provisional rail budget, one junior Rail Minister was in the well of the House trying to disrupt Lok Sabha.
Absolutely.
The other junior Rail Minister had thrown a protective ring around the Rail Minister trying to read out the rail budget. And this drama was unfolding in front of the Prime Minister, the UPA chairperson, the whole House, practically the whole country, if it was watching the proceedings from the Lok Sabha. So that, you know, I think to me that was a very graphic moment of the state to which this government has come.
Yeah.
You asked a question at the beginning of the program, is the Prime Minister losing control?
Yes.
I have been wondering for a while, has he ever wanted to keep it? Has he shown any will to keep it? I mean, this government, apart from all sorts of scams and disasters, administrative disasters that have happened one after the other, this government has not shown any sort of will under
No,
Prime
I
Minister
don't.
Manmohan Singh.
You see,
and I say this with all seriousness.
I'm tired as an Indian citizen today of the pretentiousness being shown by the Prime Minister. In this particular case, the Prime Minister is pretentious enough to come out and say, oh, today I'm very sad about the way democracy is going. It's a sad day for democracy.
No, but
his own ministers...
party that is disrupting Parliament.
Of course, his own ministers don't care for...
It is his party that is disrupting Parliament.
Of course. Now, I want to know today, I'm sorry, Mr. Prime Minister, if you're watching today, the question the whole country wants to ask you is that, okay, but you're the man responsible, you're the head of the government. If you can't control the government, then what on earth are you doing? The Prime Minister must tell us, shouldn't he? So, let's get Gaurav Bhatia, and the Prime Minister should tell us why a bureaucrat called Mr. Desi Raju was removed from the health ministry. Summarily. No explanation given. Simply because, as far as I know, he opposed the appointment of a scam-tainted man called Ketan Desai to some post. The health minister wanted it.
He has been indicted by the Delhi High Court for taking 80 lakh rupees in bribes.
Exactly.
Which the CBI preciously called goodwill money.
So, So the thing is, I want to know who's appeasing whom. Why does the Prime Minister have to appease his minister?
Arnab?
No, Gaurav, I can understand Ghulam Nabi Azad wants to appease Sonia Gandhi. But why does Manmohan Singh want to appease Ghulam Nabi Azad? Or is Manmohan Singh, even at this stage of his tenure, indirectly appeasing some shadowy figure in the Congress party in the behind? Some shadowy figure, I don't know who, so I'm not naming. I can guess who that shadowy person is, and I'm sure many people in our panel also can guess. Who is the shadowy person who is forcing the government to reappoint Ketan Desai? Did the Prime Minister consider leaving the key post of Health Secretary headless to appease his minister? And I want to ask the Prime Minister this, that Mr. Prime Minister, today India does not have a health secretary and you're responsible. You're responsible, Mr. Manmohan Singh. We don't have a health secretary in our country anymore. I mean, what's happening in this government, Gaurav? What are you people doing? Just because you have a deal with the Congress party, they can do what they want, is it?
Arnab, I don't know what aspersions you're trying to cast, but I just wanted to say a few things in relation to what we are discussing. It's a very disturbing trend. But let me say this with some responsibility, that this is just the beginning. And the reason is this, that UPA knows that it is going out of power and it would be down to a few seats in the next elections. What they're trying to do is they're trying to get in pliable officers so that if there is a change in government, they have some bureaucratic control.
Yeah, like you also want pliable officers. I know you all want pliable officers. I have not forgotten how you humiliated Durga Shakti Nagpal. You suspended her within one day. You later reinstated her. So don't pretend. Don't pretend, Gaurav, that you are some holier than thou figure in this.
Durga Shakti Nagpal
anyway, we are not discussing Durga. We are discussing
a year and more. But I wanted to make a larger point. If you would
I know, when you're cornered, you all want to make larger points.
Is this, that there is a lot of wrong that has been done in the government. Now they're trying to clean up the mess. So if the officers are not agreeing with them, where they're not budging to the pressure, they are being sent to other departments, or these changes are taking place. Now, the best example
I am asking one question. No, I'm sorry, Gaurav.
Procedure is violated.
Gaurav, one sec. Forget it, okay? I'm asking a question as an Indian citizen. Okay? There is a man, okay, who called Keshav Desi Raju. He's the Union Health Secretary. Ghulam Nabi Azad, who thinks he rules. Yes. He rules the government. He's one of the earls or dukes or whatever informal designation they have in their cabinet. This man is responsible, this Desi Raju, Keshav Desi Raju is responsible for India's victory over polio. Okay? He leads the team of officials which has ensured that polio is eradicated, and Ghulam Nabi Azad praised him a few days back. Today, because he's not supporting the reappointment of a scam-tainted man, you just sack him. You just sack him. And the Prime Minister allows this sacking to happen. It's criminal. In any other country, the people would say, let the Prime Minister resign over something like this.
All the four examples that your channel is showing right now, I could just see 3 ministers not facing the question.
Yeah, let's put their pictures out.
A question where there is no transparency. They are taking decisions, but when they are asked questions about those decisions, they don't want to face the media, they don't want to face the camera.
They don't.
And I think it is very
They
unfortunate.
don't, and let me say it on record.
All these four
let me say it on record. Let me say it on record. They slam doors. They are extremely humiliating to our reporters.
Yes,
they are insulting. There is no sense of accountability towards the media. The whole attitude seems to be, who on earth are you? Why is the media asking questions?
Yes, and this would increase. This would increase with each passing day. I can tell you that. And the reason is this, because now they are trying to clean up the mess that they have created over the last 4 years in the UPA 2 regime.
The one thing they have in common with your party is that your party also behaves in the same way when we ask questions. My question to DP Tripathi.
Absolutely not, Arnab.
No.
Absolutely not.
No. I think
absolutely not.
The Prime Minister of India.
I think
Prime Minister,
a lot of
the Prime Minister must end his silence.
The Chief Minister
this is not a virtue anymore, Mr. Manmohan Singh.
Has the best relations with the bureaucrats. He has the best relations with the bureaucrats. In fact, the earlier Chief Minister, the officers used to stand in front of her and they used to take out their shoes.
Ministers in UP government have been
and I repeat tonight,
I think Mr. Akhilesh Yadav has set an example
in front of television cameras in public.
I
want to know why, and by the way, let me come to DP Tripathi.
The entire police force of UP is like that.
Let me come to Mr.
Action
Tripathi.
Will be taken against erring officers, but there are very good officers in the police force in state of UP.
No, let me ask Mr. Tripathi.
One police officer does something wrong.
I want to ask Mr. Tripathi a question. You see, Mr. Tripathi, now my other concern with this government is that you're behaving, like a bunch of school children. I mean, I know that Sharad Pawar and the Congress party are fighting. You are fighting. Everybody knows you are fighting, and your fight is over the distribution of seats in Maharashtra. We also know you'll make up at the end. But till then you'll fight, you'll do this shadow boxing. Now, because you are fighting, why should I as an Indian citizen hear that two ministers are fighting, squabbling, all short of calling each other names in a cabinet meeting? Sharad Pawar says, after this I don't feel like coming to a cabinet meeting anymore. A special cabinet meeting is called to discuss the sugar export subsidy. A decision is taken 3 days earlier that will be 3,500 rupees per ton. Because you are fighting, maybe the Congress is, making life difficult for you by reducing the export number. Then you fight, Sharad Pawar walks out. I mean, what's going on? You take your fight outside the cabinet.